Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Tim.
I hope everybody had a really nice weekend. I'm going to give it about, I don't know, maybe about 30 seconds. Just let everybody kind of come online, and then we're going to start. There's Gary.
Hi.
All right. So I'd like to start off by welcoming everybody here, and I hope that you had a really nice weekend and had a chance to take your minds off of what's going on in the world. It was a really sunny one. Mary and I actually discussed just how ironic it is that we're having a real spring this year with the nice temperatures. And then as we were walking, we looked at each other and realized that maybe it's like this every single year, but we're running so much that we don't actually take a pause to experience it. So I'm not sure how many of you agree with me on that comment, but it was definitely a nice weekend, and we stepped away from the TV quite a bit. And my recommendation for you would be to do the same thing as much as possible. Try to get one update a day while we focus on everything that's going on. Again, my thoughts are, our collective thoughts are with you. They're with your families. And they're, Jimmy, thank you for the really nice comment online this weekend about our front staff in the office who continue to be working through these times and making sure that all the deals that are being processed, appointments, documents that are required throughout the whole process are being done. It was very kind of you.
That's my pleasure. I appreciate what they're doing, what everybody's doing,
Of course.
It's something that's new. We're unfamiliar with these times, and I was thinking about, everybody talks about the healthcare workers, and clearly they are, at the utmost importance, but the fact that we can still move on in our business and consider it essential, is there's some comfort in that. So I appreciate the wheels, or the grease that keeps the wheels turning, right?
Yes. And with that, and thank you so much for the segue, Jimmy. We couldn't have planned it better, talking about the announcement of Essential. I was just kind of browsing through Facebook late last night, and I saw a really nice post that I put on my timeline, and I wanted to actually share it with you, just since we're on the call together. And it talks about how, based on TV, you may believe realtors are concerned because they can't sell homes or hold open houses, and how the government, called us essential, but it's definitely not business as usual. And Sue's Cumming, who's out of BC, who's actually a coach and a trainer, actually shared via Marilyn Ball, which is the original source, a comment that resonated deeply, and great talking points to have with our clients. So why is real estate essential? And she gave some really great examples. A mother of two boys who just lost her husband in a horrible car accident last night. They didn't have life insurance. She realizes that she can no longer afford the home for her and her children to live in, so she desperately needs to sell. Or an 80-year-old couple who just moved into a small condo to cut expenses and put their 4-bedroom colonial home up for sale. Or a couple with an infant daughter with special long-term needs, and they must move closer to a hospital. Maybe a woman with 2 small kids who's been in an abusive relationship, or a family's house that's burned down. There's so many reasons why real estate's essential. And these are the real people who have to buy and sell. Obviously, not everybody has to buy and sell, but there are people who do need to buy and sell. And these are the kind of examples that, when you're talking to your clients, and, we're going to talk about a lot of things this morning, but one of the things is communications that are going out and talking to your clients. I know myself, I'm on the phone from about 8:30, 8:45 in the morning to as late as 10 o'clock at night. And it may not even be on the phone, but it may be through a text message or an email. It just updating our, one of you, or even having phone calls from the outside, people saying, hey, I know that you're a broker and I need some advice from you. I need some input from you. Is now a good time to sell? Is it not a good time to sell? Like, what's going on? Like, what do you recommend? Give me some guidance. And what I just shared with you about 2 minutes ago are the talking points of what you're doing every single day for people, and why some people do have to buy and sell. This is not about tapping ourselves on the shoulder. It's not about exposing ourselves or our family for no reason. It's about really making sure that if you are going to go out and you are going to talk to people buying and selling, you have a reason. So let's go back to what also happened with. I want to talk about this one thing here about essential and no open houses. Well, finally, the Ford government came out and said no more open houses and no face-to-face contact in the best way possible. So I've gotten a flurry of calls from a lot of our agents asking me, what does that mean? I cannot show a house. I have a client who wants to see a house. And my answer is going to be the same answer that I'm giving to all of them. And that is, you have to be responsible. And, if in the event that somebody has already bought a home, you have to show them that home. It's an additional viewing. Now, if that viewing can be, could be set aside and not done, both from an agreement from the buyer and the seller, that'd be the best thing to do right now. If we can do a virtual showing for a follow-up viewing that's going to happen between the firm and closing date, then that is a better option, where you can go to the property yourself. You can wipe down a lockbox, wipe down the door, open the door, walk in, take a video on FaceTime or Skype or Zoom like this, and then possibly satisfy all their concerns. I know Elma, she was great to share the experience last week of how that went exceptionally well. So that hasn't changed. But when it comes to actual having people in your car with you, obviously not. More than ever right now, you should not have them in your car. But those showings that are happening because of a property being sold can or still happen, considering you follow the showing protocols. Now, some condos and more condos downtown have stopped showings altogether for real estate. Talking to my colleague and a great friend in Jamie Johnston at Remax Condos Plus, we talk 3 times a day, talking about the state of the market downtown and what he's experienced. And he's been my sounding board, as I am yours, and I'm his. And we talk about a lot of the different changes. There are concerns with condo boards stopping showings completely. There are some lawyers who respect that what's going on, but due to financial circumstances, people do have to sell their condos, and stopping showings completely is not a solution. For now, what I have advised is to make sure that you can do an offer conditionally upon it being viewed. So if the client really likes the property after seeing the virtual tour, make an offer, agree on price, conditional on viewing the property. But again, as I said before, there's still discussion if showings can lawfully be stopped due to the fact that it's an essential service. We have just listed a power of sale, not because of the market. There's always power of sales in every market. We've been doing power of sales basically every month of the last many years. There's not a year that I haven't seen us sell a power of sale. In this case, it's for the Scotiabank. We just signed a listing agreement as a brokerage. Our agent, our salesperson signed up on that listing agreement. And the bank wants the property on the market right now. So, how can the condo corp possibly stop that showing from happening? Any questions so far, everybody?
No.
No questions? So I'll continue on.
Tim, sorry, I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
In that regard, is that like the condo corp is changing their like their policies, their bylaws? Yeah.
They're doing like an emergency. So I'm not sure if they did an emergency bylaw change, but it's not impossible to have a temporary, policy in place that they deem to be for the safety of the people that are in that condo building.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is stuff that is being challenged right now, and again, it's very sensitive, and it's understandable that the residents of that building may not want just all these extra people walking into their building above and beyond the people who live there. However, there are some circumstances where people do have to sell, and they're trying to manage those circumstances. Did that answer your question? Any follow-up?
Yes, it does. Thanks. Yeah,
no problem.
that's good. Thank you.
So, I mean, it goes back now to discussing with your clients, all the benefits that are there for them right now. I mean, these are interesting times. We don't know if it's going to last another month or two. I mean, we need to be realistic. Very promising news coming out from a lot of different other countries. Obviously, when I say promising, we're always looking for the silver lining in every situation. Having less people pass away in Spain, less people pass away, in Italy, cases being reported dropping in any country is all deemed to be good news. I'm very thankful that we did get ahead of this in Canada, and that we did not, react the way our friends to the south have reacted, and allowed this to go into this situation that it has. But there are emergency benefits right now that the government has announced, and they do apply to real estate agents as well. But before we get into the real estate agent standpoint, this is the information that could be fantastic reconnecting talking points, with your clients, with all our clients. So I was talking to one of our agents just last week who's does businesses for sale, and we were talking about having brainstorming ideas of how they can keep restaurants open, and how they can provide a better service for their clientele that used to visit their dining room, and how they can shift slightly. And the examples are everywhere. Thomas Caberlet, who's an ex-defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs, he's actually delivering food from his wife's restaurant on Yonge Street. So imagine you ordering food. Now, we don't have that benefit of having a restaurant that is partly owned by an ex-hockey player. However, imagine having, opening the door and having an ex-hockey player delivering your food. How cool is that? And he's not doing it because he needs the money. He's doing it because, it's all hands on deck and he wants to help. But the pricing is also quite different because it's not a dining room price. So there's always a better way to kind of try to find some solutions within everything. Maybe it's talking to them about the $40,000 loan that the government is offering to small business, with up to 25% of it being forgiven if payments are made towards that loan. So there's a benefit there. There's $2,000 a month up to 4 months for people who are affected, independent contractors, construction workers. There's a lot of people. Could everybody still hear me? Okay.
You cut out for just a second there. So
I thought so, because I had a little bit of a blip on my screen. I wanted to make sure. I'll repeat what I said. Imagine contractors, self-employed, people who are on contract but are not being paid at this time, they qualify for the $2,000 a month up to 4 months. But here's a catch for us as realtors. So that's the client. Let me just touch on the realtor standpoint. You can qualify if you don't have any closings in the next 4 months. And we can't hold back the funds that you've actually have closed and are deemed to earn in March, April, May, or June. So you can't say, hey, Tim, I got a closing of $5,000 in April. Can you just like close it, but don't pay me? Pay me in July. I can't do that. That would be fraud to the federal government, to the system. And that would be a very, very dangerous position to be involved in. However, if you're not working, if you have a parent, you're taking care of a parent, if you're self-quarantined, if you're forced to stay home to take care of children, these are all reasons why you qualify for the $2,000 a month benefit. Any questions about that?
So basically, if you've got closings, you don't qualify.
You don't qualify. You don't qualify. So you may qualify for one of the 4 months. In this case, Gary, if we're talking together about this, but you would not qualify for, all 4 months. The application process of how it works has started today. Today is the first day of all the services that are available through the CRA links. And I'm sure it'll be overwhelmed. I'm sure there'll be some browser problems because of just how many people are going to try to log in all at the same time. But it is available to everybody to go in there and try.
My assistant is applying for that.
So again, Jonathan, if your assistant is not being paid by you or anybody else, then she definitely qualifies. He or she definitely qualifies. Anybody else have people that they're going to apply that they know of?
Tim, I have a question about you said if we have closings coming up, we don't qualify. But I don't know if you can answer this, but because we've somewhat stopped working, doesn't that be a qualifying? Or what if we've stopped working because we have to take care of our children who are at home? Like that's another condition. Like there's several conditions that I have questions about that are very gray when it comes to the answers. Mm-hmm. And this was one of the things that was gray in my opinion. And yes, I have 2 more closings coming up, one in May, one in June. So that is that it? Like I cannot qualify just simply based on that?
No. So I mean, you may qualify for March and April. You're home, you're not working, you're taking care of your kids, right? And that's what you're doing. But then, your spouse, what's she doing? Is she going to be employed or not employed? That's totally different, right? That does not, I'm talking about your children being taken care of. Is your spouse home with you? Is she helping you take care?
Yeah, no, my wife's not working.
Yeah, but is she getting a paycheck?
No. From who? From me?
No, from anywhere. Like is she part of? Okay, so depends.
Well, she's a teacher, but a supply teacher, but she's not working now.
Okay, so there's no paycheck.
No.
So then you'd have to apply through the emergency system and see what.
But that's my wife. But like as a realtor, I have 2 closings coming up. Does that mean I cannot qualify?
So I don't believe, in my humble opinion, I'm just thinking like both sides here. I don't believe you qualify for May and June.
Even though I'm not working and that business was generated before all this stuff was happening.
I don't believe you qualify for May and June. You're earning an income. You're earning
money. Right?
Pardon me?
You can still apply.
Of course you can.
Right? Which I would do if I were you. Okay, yeah.
I would apply and at least take the $2,000 for March and April. Mm-hmm. 2,000 for March, 2,000 for April, $4,000 right there.
Hey, Tim, can I ask a question? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, just with Andre's point, I think what he's getting at is with us obviously doing pre-construction condos, we have tons of closings and work that we've done way before this happening, and we're still getting paid on it. Now, in the month of March, obviously the sales have slowed down. So I guess the question is, if in the month of March, being a real estate agent, you could not do any more closings. However, you obviously did some closings in January, February that may be closing in March, April, that you're going to get the income from that. But in the month of March, I mean, is CRA looking at the revenue where it's the closings, the closing transactions that you've made for that month, or the closings that you're getting paid for in that month?
Yeah. So in my discussions with my accountant and other accountants together, they feel that that could be turned down because this emergency fund and subsidy is for the people who have no money coming to them whatsoever.
Hey, Tim, it's Peter.
Yeah.
The other point is that just because we have closings, there's no guarantee that they are closing. Okay, so that's a little bit of a gray area. I mean, yes, we understand under the rules that you cannot back out of a deal, but there's no guarantee of that.
Yeah.
So you could claim it. My understanding is that the government may require some information following this whole situation, but at least it allows people to have some cash flow in the time until the government does ask for that. And if they do ask, hey, you owe us that money back, well, at least we got through a cash flow crunch at this time.
So that's exactly, thank you for sharing that, Peter. That's exactly it. I believe you should still apply and see how it works out. I believe you should still apply. Say you're not working, you've written no transactions since this has happened, and see what would happen in the future. We're even looking at all these things as a company. We are financially rock solid. It's not a concern, but they've offered some incentives right now. They're willing to pay 75% of payroll, to keep people online to a certain amount of money. So, I'm going to probably apply because that would allow us to keep at least one or two of our team members through these times on staff, like on payroll fully, and we'll top them up to 25%. Why not? Like it's a win-win. I think that you should apply. I just don't know if the government will decide on the one way or the other, but it's worth applying.
So businesses with employees could apply. We just don't know if they're going to say yay or nay.
Yeah. So with businesses, it's a little different because they want to see so I'll share this with our team, like, for David, for example, if you show a 30% drop in business for the first, for March, April, and May they use your gross income from last year of March, April, and May to compare your gross income of this year, March, April, and May. Well, in real estate, it doesn't work that way. In real estate, it's written transactions. So what I've done is I've prepared and working on preparing reports to show that our transactions have dropped by 70% for March so far, right? From the last part of March, 70%. There's no question in my mind that April will show a 50% decrease, far in excess of 30% that they're looking for. But that's how I'm defining it. It doesn't mean that they're going to accept it.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, with the transactions in the month of March, April, May, obviously it's going to be substantially lower than March, April, and May of last year. So as long as we're looking at a transactional point of view, yes, obviously the income's paid. It doesn't make sense. But if you're still going to try to apply for it, and there's no issues with us trying to apply for it where they can just say yes or no, or they're not going to fine us or penalize us in the future. It's like, no, you try to beat the system.
No, I mean, my, 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 my again, just be fully transparent. There's no reason to pay interest and penalties. Just be fully transparent with what's going on. Your written transactions have dropped by X amount based on what you're saying. This is how our business works. It's on written transactions. There's no question that, there's no open houses allowed. There's no face-to-face contact allowed. It's only emergency buyers, emergency sellers. The pre-construction market has completely, gone to a pause because there's no in-person opportunity to meet with people and present this product. So I'm applying for it. And if they give it to you based on all your written, documentation they require, then there should be no penalties of any kind. But if they ask you, do you have any closings? Do you have any money, coming to you in March or April, and you say no, but you do, then it's better that you say I do, but that's not how I'm defining it. I'm defining it by written transactions. My business has come to a halt.
Correct.
Tim, it's Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Hey, guys. These are all valid points and questions that you're all asking today. And I got to be honest with you. Anybody who's had to work with the CRA over the years, you know what they're like. I think the best food for thought here is to make the applications. And over the next few days, I know for a fact there's going to be some questions, just like, David was a valid question. Andre's fantastic questions. I think these are all going to be kind of weeded out and smoothed out over time because it's an unknown. We don't know what they're going to do on individual cases. And I agree. I like what Andre said about, well, I'm at home, got to take care of the kids and this and that. I'm sure they don't have all the answers yet, but just put the applications in. I have nothing to lose from this. Go for it. Let's see what happens. And we'll all learn and maybe share over time with myself and Tim and Jen and everybody going, what was your experience? What did they say to you? How did they question you? That kind of stuff. So it is new, but it's worth a shot today. Go for it.
So what you're suggesting is for us to still apply today or whenever our birthday is this week and just take the chance, or should we just wait to see what's the real right decision to do, and we can apply maybe in 2 weeks from now? Or is it only this week you can apply and that's it?
You can apply next week. If anything, it's right now will be overloaded. Today's the first day of applications. I don't think they've actually, as Larry said, I don't believe they have all the answers. I know I don't have all the answers. I know I'm applying for the thing that I can apply for, the small business. I know I'm giving you the recommendation to apply as an independent contractor. As to what Peter said, I like what Peter said. Apply, you get approved, you get $2,000 a month. If later they say no, then you just, it helps you through the cash crunch.
Tim.
Yeah.
It's Candido. Just wanted to say, according to what I read, the benefit is going to be available for the next 6 months, and it's taxable as well. So it could help people with cash flow, but I don't think there's a need, depending on where you are, to apply right away, because you could apply for it later on, because it's going to be available until the end of October.
Yeah. So the application takes till October. I didn't see that part. So thank you, Candido.
Hey guys, it's Mike Kennedy here.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, how are you, Tim?
Great. How are you?
Not bad at all. So Sandy actually went on the website this morning, took a look at it. Basically, from what we understand is if you do apply for it, they'll pay it within 3 days. And if you're not eligible for it, then you have to pay the money back, right? So they're doing this a bit backwards. And I think they're doing it just so people can get paid out quickly. So they're checking your eligibility after they start paying it out. Yeah, so that's kind of how it works. So if you do, start receiving the funds, as far as we understand, as soon as if you do start receiving them, and then they find out later on you're not eligible, I don't think it's punitive fine, but you just need to pay the money back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that too, Mike, online, actually, when Trudeau announced, I think it was maybe Thursday or Friday when we were talking about this, they did say that, I mean, much like kind of the conversation here, like this is brand new for everybody, to be all the answers. But he did encourage everybody to apply, and then if it was deemed later that you were ineligible, you would have to obviously pay it, right? It's just to like get the cash crunch right now for people that don't have any income that are coming in.
he also said, if I don't mind jumping in, he also said that if you don't need it, this is for the people who really need it, right? We will be watching. He made those comments very clear and more than once that, make sure that, you need it. Like, leave it for people who really need any program right off the bat. But again, it's really interesting how they will give you the money and then ask for it back after.
Sorry, Tim. The other thing people need to realize, this is taxable income. So if you can use it for cash flow, but if you make really good money in September onwards, you're still going to pay it back.
Of course you are. Yeah. I mean, this is stepping up and helping people. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, well, 3 weeks now, but it feels like, 3 months. I mean, I'm not sure about you, but I mean, it feels like a lot longer than what I'm used to. I mean, I got to the point now, I wake up, I make my bed, I put the decorative pillows the way they're supposed to be, I wear my dress pants and I wear a shirt and I hop on the phones because I just, that's the only way that it helps me now. Like, it needs to, I want to be, I can't wait to give everybody a hug. Like, I'm serious. I can't wait to see everybody in the offices and walk up and down the hallway. So anyways, are we good with all that conversation then? So we all agree that investigate it, look at your personal finances, and make the applications.
Guys, on that note, Tim, if I can, it's Jimmy here.
Yeah.
There also is some funds available to parents who have children under 12.
Yes, there is.
Or with disabilities.
Yes.
So, there are some additional funds that are available there. I think it's between $100 and up to $250 per child. So if, there is some other help out there for those who are home with their kids and, in need of some additional assistance that way as well.
So I've been really looking at the information that
I spoke to her over the weekend regarding a check.
Oh, okay.
Refund check for the remaining balance check for the client.
For your.
Who's there?
The builder thing.
David, can you just mute your mic when you're not? Mute your.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, my apologies. I thought it was muted. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
So the thing that I've been really looking at myself has been the eligibility for you, right? And some of the services that are for small businesses, because I know I'm dealing with those questions a lot. But again, become a student of this, even if you don't need it. These are great conversation points with your clients. You're calling them up to guide them through these times and provide them with the insight that's needed to help them through these times. Moving on, I want to talk about the market. What a market we're having, eh? So I have some stats here I wanted to share with you. In week 1, when all this happened, we had a drop in actual solds of 14%. In week 2, I guess what we saw is a tremendous surge. So week 1 would be just during the announcement of what is going on with the coronavirus and how it's impacting and starting the soft conversation about social distancing and everything else. When all that happened just before March break, there was a slight pause that created a 14% drop. The week after, though, we had a 35% increase in sales in our office. Now, I'm talking about our office alone. I'm not talking about industry, but rest assured that we have traditionally outperformed the overall market of TREB. However, it's still close enough to provide you the insight. And what I think you want to know is what's going on within our offices as well. So we had a 35% increase. What's really interesting is the week after, we had a 33% decrease in bookings. We had a 34% decrease in listings. This is 33%, 34%. And we had a 78% drop in sales. So now we're talking about the true effects of COVID-19 and people adhering to the rules and everything else. And now you're seeing the 20 to 25% of all sales that are going to be out there over the next 2 weeks are going to be more of those emergency type sales, right? The people who do have to buy or do have to sell. What I'm hoping for, I mean, you can only hope. I don't have a crystal ball. If anybody talks to you about we're out of this in 2 weeks, we're out of this in 6 months, either way, they're 50% right. Okay, so I'm not going there, and I'm not trying to bat 50% here. I do feel in my heart that with only 25% of sales happening right now, and the idea of people respecting the social distancing and staying home, that this could only result in a faster, better outcome for all of us. Okay. I mean, I wanna share with you guys something that I haven't asked permission to share, but I'm going to share it with you. One of our admin people has a mom who's in Seven Oaks Healthcare, and there's multiple deaths there. So, you know, this is hitting closer to home. We need to do our part. This is not about real estate right now. It's about taking care of our families and everything else. But at the same time, I don't want to be a downer. I want to ask you to please not keep on watching the news from morning to night. Get active. Get on the phone. Talk to people. Be their resource. Provide them information about the Canadian Emergency Fund. Provide them information about the housing market. Ask them how their children are. I mean, we have kids. We know how hard it is. You know, I mean, they want to kill each other. I feel I'm wearing stripes right now. There should be black and white stripes for a referee. You know, there's only so many walks and so many drives you can go for, you know, at any one time. I mean, I haven't seen Georgina, you know, just north of Newmarket more times in the past 2 weeks than I have, you know, my whole lifetime. I've watched the ice be frozen solid, people ice fishing, and now I watch people with their boats, putting them in the water, you know, so I've been up there taking these scenic rides, trying to get our minds off things as well. And something that's really helped me a lot, and I'm hoping it will help you too, is taking advantage of the training classes that we're having online. These training classes that are being held by Larry and Jen. We have industry speakers coming online. We're having Valerie Garcia. We're having Dan Wood. You know, head office is having a lot of different speakers as well. We had a great at the sign last week. We had a quarantine business plan. These are all ways to, you know, continuously improve yourself and put great ideas into your mind and work on your business. But again, don't be alone here. You're not alone. Get on the phone and talk to people, talk to your database, reconnect, and talk to us. We're here to assist in any way possible. Any comments from Larry and Jen?
Sorry, go ahead, Jen.
The only thing that I wanted to add to that was, because we do have a lot of people in here this morning, so it's great to see you guys. I have been very successfully over the last 2 weeks doing one-on-one sessions with a lot of the agents at the office. If you want help trying to figure out how to take your business a little bit more virtual, right? If you want help with Zoom, you want help with video stuff, you know how to run it. I've been offering that. So if there's any interest in it, just let me know. We can set up a Zoom meeting and go from there.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, and great job, kudos to Jen on that. She is doing a great job, I know that. The other thing is we're all trying to bring in as many people as we can. And sometimes it's a last minute, so I have to be honest with you. And I'm not going to make any bones about this. Tim knows me. I go after people that owe some favors. So, and I pulled some of those strings over the last few days. So we have people like, for example, Jen and them have already put together on Wednesday, we're going to have Impact. So we actually have them delivering directly to the office, what you would probably see at Treb. So they're going to do it in-house for us alone. We are constantly, every day I'm calling on people for favors going, look, spare me some time. Could you do something for my office? You know, our office, whatever you'd like, you know, and they all want to talk. They're bored too. Look, I finished 4 books this weekend and my hands are killing me from coloring, but it was awesome. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do. But we will, believe me, bring you up to speed. And quite frankly, while we have all these people on the lines today, if you have anybody you know that you would like us to contact, please reach out. I mean, we will be more than happy to talk to them, see if we can arrange a time or something that they can come in and do our thing. That's it for me, guys.
So, so yeah, there's two things that I want to talk about as well that are very important. One of them is I saw a comment in my feed about a Remax fee holiday or anything that Remax may be doing. So I want you to know that if there's somebody who has your back and is talking to Remax, it's me, right? They do care. They're not oblivious to the situation, and they are working on designing something that could provide some relief for all our agents. For example, they're talking about a deferral of the entire fee or a portion thereof to a later time. They're talking about some slight, changes to the plan to absorb, and move forward with it. So they're looking at different things right now. I don't have an answer for you. We're hoping in the next couple of weeks we will have something at most. The other thing is social media. Oh, sorry, but before I go on, if there's any financial concerns that you have at any time, reach out to me. I mean, I'm here to talk to you about anything and everything. Jen and I had a call before we went on today, and we were talking about the training and everything else. And I just said, whoa, stop, time out. How are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, tell me, how was your weekend? Am I right, Jen?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, don't think that there's anything that we can't discuss. I mean, we're here to have your back in every way. Now, going back to social media.
Sorry, Tim, can I interject there for a quick second? Korea updates. Is there anything, any word on that? What's happening with that? Those of us who, have to do our update for, this year.
Rico, you mean?
Yeah.
Rico. Sorry. Yes, Rico. Sorry.
You need to do your updates. Your updates have always been online. Do your updates online. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not stop your updates. As a matter of fact, they're slower to responding to the renewals of agents' licenses. They're having some tech challenges. Do not leave it to the 11th hour. It takes, what people don't know about Rico, it takes up to 24 hours for the actual submit button to show up, where you're able to make your renewal payment and have your application sent to me for approval.
Right.
So say, for example, that you're due to renew on April the 7th and you finish your class today, you're not going to get your renewal button until tomorrow, for example. Sorry, so it's renewed. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Say that your license is up for renewal today,
Mm-hmm.
and you finish your class today, your renewal button won't show up till after your license expired.
I love where you're going with it, and I get that. I was asking more about relief or deferral or anything. Have we heard anything from?
Not for your driver's license, not for your passport, not for your healthcare card, not for your Rico license either. But the reason why I want to bring that up is because sadly enough, Rico has increased their reinstatement fee to $200 from $100. And some of our agents have been stung by that $200, even though their button wasn't working.
Oh, I see, for reinstatement.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So instead of paying $390, they're paying $590 now
mm-hmm.
to renew their license, which is, a 30% increase if you think about it, right? Almost a 30% increase. So, I mean, that's excessive to pay, right? Just for your renewal. I know that TREB is delaying the renewals till September. There's the deferral till September. They're doing a bylaw. They're talking about how to change their bylaws because under the Corporations Nonprofit Act, you have to have a virtual meeting now by the membership to actually approve that deferral, which is going to be very, very interesting. I know that Larry and I have talked a lot to industry leadership about AREA. Just to repeat myself again, they have something like $70, $80 million in reserves. There's no reason why they cannot give you a one-year holiday of $120 or whatever it is. I mean, they're cash flush right now, and there's no reason why they can't do that, right? So that's another thing that's going on. Korea has not said anything yet that I know of. Larry's on the call with us. I'm sure they're probably talking about it privately, and he can't share anything right now. But I know that in Aria's case, that's happening too.
And Tim, may I just add? Thank you. Korea, just on the note for Korea, tomorrow, I'll give you an example of something that's, again, all new. Tomorrow, I personally will be on a call for a demo for a virtual AGM, which is the first time. It's unheard of, but it's going to be happening next month. And Tim and I know these. We've been at these many times as directors. And there's going to be a lot of voting. There's going to be bylaws. So it's going to be something like this. It's just going to be pretty interesting when you have all across Canada talking. So I'm sure that something will be talked about. And I'm not going to say I know anything. I don't. But I know for a fact somebody's going to probably bring this up on the board, if it's not from Vancouver or Ottawa or St. John's, about something about dues. And I promise you this, anything that I know that I could actually give as information, you'll be the first to know. Well, Tim will be the first, and Jen, and I'll let you guys know 100%, but I will ask. I promise that.
Yes. Thank you, Larry. So there are deferrals happening, all over in the industry. But I want you to know that nobody's given a holiday completely. No organization has given a holiday completely. They're deferring. Everybody's rejigging their plans and deferring it. That's what the biggest thing is. It's either you go from maybe your corporate split changes, or maybe it's going to be paid out in 3 months from now, or 4 months later, but the bills are going to be there at some point, because everybody's expecting a quick recovery to the real estate market after this, and because the demand is going to be pent up. And make no mistake, I mean, I'm not as optimistic as I always am. I like to be positive. At the same time, I'm a realist. It's going to take time for people to get over the social anxiety, right, that they're experiencing right now. But it will pass. I mean, how many times have we heard our agents say, oh God, I learned from this recession, I'll save more money and it'll never happen to me again. And the next blip that happens in the market, oh my God, I didn't remember that one, right? Like I should have remembered. So it's going to take some time for people to get over it, but there's every single buyer that I've spoken to, or on behalf of our agents' clients who they've asked me to, interject and provide my insight. Everybody wants to move forward. They just don't know how long this will last. And you're watching even, Ford and GM and different corporations come out right now and say, if you buy a car, we'll defer your lease payments for 6 months. We won't start your lease payment for 6 months. So instead of being a 48-month lease, they're going to do, instead of doing a 30-month lease, they'll do a 36-month lease. Instead of a 36, they'll do a 42 or something like that. They're going to become very creative. At the same time, I love what some of the banks have done. I know that TD, for example, they've deferred all mortgage payments for qualifying people for 6 months without added interest. They've actually said they're not going to add any added interest to their deferral. There's some positive. We will be remembered as people, as businesses, as corporations. We will be remembered by the leadership and the actions that we have during these times. I myself will never forget the people who put money before the human being. I will never forget the people who during these times have lied to me. I will never forget the people who said one thing and did another thing. I will never forget the people who put commission and sales breath out of their mouths before being people first. I will never forget it. The advertising that I'm seeing is resonating with me right now. Like I'm seeing that maybe they're full of shit. I don't know, right? Maybe they are. But the ones who are vocal and the ones who are out there, I'll never forget it. The ones who are not, they are who they are. At the same time, I started the meeting this way. I'm going to somewhat end it the same way. Social media needs to be socially positive. Oh my God, Larry, I haven't seen you since high school, right? That's what social media was meant to be. Take yourselves out of the misery loves company environment. It's not good for you. It's not good for us. I mean, this is not about me at all. Did anybody see my cooking video this weekend? Anybody? Right?
My wife made me watch.
I don't know, but I mean, I just said, Helena, you want some guacamole? Sure. I said, you want to help me make it? Sure, Dad. Hey, you want to make a video? Oh my God, how fun would that be, right? So we just had some fun with it. It was not business related. Use your networks to put a smile on people's faces. That's what my message is right now. My heart, like down deep in here, I feel that we're, if this is the whole point of what we're going through, I believe we're here. Like, I don't believe we're at the end, but I do believe we've made our way through a lot of all this stuff, right? And to Jeff Aroni, yes, I was wearing pants under my apron. Yes. So it's all about, trying to take this opportunity to connect with people, using social media in a positive way. Look at the people you're associating yourself with right now on social media. This is your chance to disassociate yourself with those people. If they're, at the same time, hold on, I want to say this, it's very important. Try to look between the lines. They may be calling out for help. And if between the lines they're calling out for help, don't post there. Give them a call and ask them how they're doing. Maybe they seem to be a top agent, or they seem to be a top, business person. Maybe they just need somebody to talk to instead, and they're venting out in a different way. So I will continue to keep everybody updated on the marketplace. Is there anything that anyone would like to discuss now that I'm kind of done talking? By the way, you're all muted.
I have a idea for everyone that I did that everyone may want to do something similar. I sent out a text message through, I use Twilio through the agent locator. You can use it through any website, but I use any SMS texting provider. And I sent out a mass SMS text to my 550 families. I think it was a total of 600 text messages. I should have sent out 100 a day. I did it all in one day. And I kid you not, I had to respond to 300 text messages. It took me hours, but it was amazing that it got such a response. And I just said, it sets up and it says hi, and it inserts their first name through the system. We hope you're staying healthy and safe during all this global turmoil and uncertainty. We care about you and are thinking of you. If you are housebound in self-isolation, need medication or anything to be picked up, please contact us. We want to help. Please touch base so we know that you're okay. Jonathan and Michelle. And it was just like, I'm not kidding, like more than half responded to that. And no one actually outright asked for help, but it was amazing, the responses. And I couldn't believe the amount of people had family members stuck in other countries, like over 10.
Yeah. So the interesting part of this is why we're going through this, trying to flatten the curve. There's still people coming home. We have agents in our company that just returned 3 days ago from being away in Florida. So those people now are in self-isolation. They can't go in for 14 days. So there's still people coming home. And we need to realize that these people, this is why the curve has to be taken care of.
But that message was amazing. To get a 50% response on a text. I mean, amazing. That was huge.
It's fantastic, and thanks for sharing that example, Jonathan, because these are great ideas and a great opportunity. This platform to share these ideas with each other and take advantage of the time that you have at home. I also want to remind everybody that you're probably getting a lot of you are getting emails and phone calls from Rebecca in her office about rew.ca. If you haven't signed up for that website, take the opportunity, write it down, to write down and set up your profile on rew.ca. It is a platform that costs $54 a month, and it's for 1 year. It's paid for. It's, you know, it's no cost to you. Use it, learn it. It's one of the strongest platforms out there for branding. And I know that, you know, we're not selling real estate right now as much as we would love to, but take the opportunity to learn how to use some of the tools that are in there. I almost forgot and I want to add that in. Does anybody else have a success story they want to share? Anybody?
I had a great meeting actually after I reached out to Rebecca with a gal from Zoom. It's a pretty interesting, you know, I'm not sure what the upside is on it yet, but I did go in and set up my profile. There's an opportunity to put a little video in there as well as an intro video. So it's kind of a cool opportunity to catch up with some stuff that I think I've been putting off for a while. They did offer me a half-hour meeting with a REW, professional, which was, very helpful to me. I don't know if that's a success story, but it is for me.
It is. Yeah. Thank you for saying that you had a good experience with them, because they really want this to work with our brokers and our agents. They really want it to work, and there's no commitment to you after the first year. But the whole idea of this platform was for us, when we discussed it, is to try to get you a deal a year, a sale a year, right? And if everything can get you closer to that, then it pays for itself, right? Like, wouldn't it be great at the end of the year, not obviously, again, not now, but at the end of the year, at the end of this term, if you could attribute a transaction from it, then why wouldn't you pay $600 a year to have it? The return on investment is tremendous. And the other one that I wanted to share with you was the Quick Page app. The Quick Page app from Michael Krissa. Remax has partnered for, I think $1 a month, is it, Jen? Do you know what?
Yeah, so it was $1 a month for 2 months. So you're basically getting 2 months for $2.
Yes. And the Quick
We'll
Page
send out
app,
some communication about that.
yeah, so the Quick Page app is a virtual tour type BombBomb slash platform that it kind of puts a lot of different platforms into one platform. So you can have a virtual tour, a slideshow, a video about yourself, a message that has a movement to it that proves that when you click on it, there's a higher open rate. These are all great tools that you can use right now. So for $1 a month, it's like for $2. At the end of the day, even if you subscribe, sign up, set yourself up, and use it once or twice, at least you know what it's about, and you can terminate it at 2 months or continue on with it, right?
Do you think it's a better solution than BombBomb?
I don't know if it's a better solution because I haven't used it as much as BombBomb. But if I was a realtor practicing, Jeff, I would definitely sign up and try it and see. For me,
Apparently it's definitely better. Apparently it's like BombBomb 2.0. I've heard from numerous colleagues who've been using BombBomb for years.
Awesome.
Yeah, so BombBomb is one dimensional, right? It's a email message, and you click on it, it can have a message underneath it. Where Quick Page app has, the same GIF thing that goes on, like you're kind of moving your body so people want to click on it, but it also has your virtual tour in there. It has several platforms into one.
The only real thing that they share is that they're video based. Like, there's still two different platforms for two different conversations. What I really liked about the Quick app or Quick Page, or I think it's Quick app, right? I just like the idea there's like scrolling videos in there. I was really impressed with it when I saw it. So we'll look into that more. We'll feed it out to you guys so that we can get some training on it, and also where to get the deal for that.
Yeah, so we'll have our team post that in our networking group, and we'll add it to our resource center of My Remax Ultimate. Don't forget, guys, at My Remax Ultimate, we have an entire COVID-19 resource center now there. So we have the quarantine business plan. We have the working with COVID. For those of you who missed it, our insurance, I can't believe I'm waiting till 11 o'clock to say this. Our insurance does not cover you from a COVID-19 case, okay? Nobody's insurance covers you from a COVID-19 case. As a matter of fact, the rider in the insurance policies covers $50,000. That is not enough money to cover anybody from a COVID-19 circumstance that may come about. So having that working with COVID-19 form signed by your buyers and your sellers is imperative. It actually talks about what COVID-19 is. It talks about it being a pandemic. It talks about social distancing and the requirements required and no face-to-face showings. And it has a disclaimer at the bottom by the buyer and the seller saying that you've been explained this, you've understand it, you had the opportunity to review it, and you release RE/MAX Ultimate and its representatives from anything to the extent of COVID-19. So it's very specific to the coronavirus and what is going on in our lives today. I mean, I'm hoping that we never have to use this in the future, but who knows? This may be a second wave or a third wave in a year from now or 2 years from now. It may happen again. So I think we're going to have this resource center for a very long time. So working with COVID-19 was set up in the exact same way as working with a realtor. So working with a realtor and working with COVID-19, same concept, same premise. It must be signed. If you're going to do a after sale revisit with a buyer, you want that form signed. New listing, you want that form signed. BRA, you want that form signed. It's very important that that form is signed all the time. Any questions?
Tim, I have a question. If you have a listing that you have the seller sign that when you're doing the listing agreement, and for every buyer that's not your buyer or your client that is coming to see it, do you have to have them sign it too?
So I believe that that's the responsibility of the cooperating broker to have their own form signed. I also believe that Broker Bay and the way our showing setup is already set up, it covers it because it says that here's a confirmation, but you agree that these are the parameters. You're not going to use the washroom. You're not going to touch things. You're going to wipe things down. If you've traveled, you're not coming. If you've had a cold or you have a cold, you're not coming. If you're with anybody in your household who has a cold or signs of COVID, you're not coming. By going, you approve, you agree to these terms. So the fact that that buyer's agent takes that buyer and goes to our listing, I believe we've done what we had to do.
And if we're going to take out a buyer, get this form signed before we take them out.
You're not covered otherwise, guys. I want to share this. It's so crystal. It needs to be. Please, this is for your own safety and well-being. Number one, they shouldn't be in your car to begin with. Number two, you should have the conversation with the listing agent. In this case, that you're going to let the buyer walk. You're going to let the buyer walk in. Maybe after the buyer walks in at a certain distance, you walk in and just stay there. The window should be left open. Lights should be left open. A few drawers and cupboards should be left open. All closet doors should be left open. All the lights should be on. The listing agent should do everything possible to have that house ready for a showing under our circumstances.
But you only need the form signed once, and then you can take that buyer out to show them 20 properties on 3 different days, yeah?
Yeah, like you don't sign.
Exaggerating, but I'm just making the point.
No. I mean, and it's great. The point is you only sign working with a realtor once with a buyer. So it's no different.
Sorry, I'm just talking about the COVID-19 form. So it's the same idea.
Same premise. I'm saying you only sign working with a realtor once. You sign working with COVID-19 once as well. Andre had a comment? No? We lost Andre. Okay. Any other questions about any of the resources right now?
Sorry, I was muted and I couldn't go. I was gonna say to ask Rebecca if she can email us those links instead of just leaving them in this chat, if that's possible.
So I'm gonna definitely will email them out again, but I'm going to share with you that at myremaxultimate.com, there's a COVID-19 resource there. myremaxultimate.com. That's our hub that has Broker Bay login, Lone Wolf login, Sign login, Treb login. We're gonna have the Quick Page app offer. We have BombBomb there. All our resources are there as a hub, right? The problem with emailing, and we're gonna email it again, no problem. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that you're being bombarded with emails. You're not like today, like last night at like 1 a.m, I sent Rebecca an email saying, Rebecca, in the morning, please send out a page, a Broker Bay page that we're doing an hour with Tim at 10 o'clock. They try to keep it separate from the email. And even then we couldn't get everybody to see it. You're being bombarded, right? So I'm not sure. I want to ask a question of Rebecca and Daniel, I guess. How can we have this chat saved so people can see it after the call?
You can't have it saved, Tim.
You can't, right?
No, so the chat isn't included within the recording.
You can download the PDF of the chat, can you not?
No. You cannot. I tried that already.
Links that are requested are in the chat there if you want to click it. But your best case to save everything we're talking about is to bookmark myremaxultimate.com.
You could also, whoever is hosting or whoever wants to provide it, could easily take screenshots of the chat. So it would be 1 or 2 screenshots.
And we're putting everything through Facebook as well, through our networking group. So there's also a timeline there of everything that we're putting out.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing a record button that's on my phone, and I didn't engage a record button, so I'm not sure if this is being recorded. So
we are recording on our own. We are recording.
Oh, okay. So that. Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
So what we're doing is everything's being recorded, and then our team at the office can handle like the download and the repurposing of this to watch at a later time if need be as well.
Tim, it's Mary Carrier. Will that be on My Remax Ultimate? I know the last one I wanted to watch, I went back to it and it wasn't there. And Jen sent me a link and the link didn't open either.
Okay. So I'll leave that in the capable hands of Daniel or Rebecca.
We're working on putting all the videos up as we speak.
What about the one tomorrow, the MPAC one or property line one? Will that also
everything's going to be recorded? Everything's recorded.
That one we'll work on getting a recording from them. Now keep in mind we are not hosting this, like it is for our agents.
Yeah, I know.
They are hosting this webinar. It's actually not done on Zoom. It's actually done on GoToWebinar. So I will ask him for a recording of it.
Okay, great.
But if you can join at the time that it will be done at, that'll be helpful as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of us try to, but it's sometimes like I didn't know about this one this morning and found out about it, I did get the email with the notification. So
I wanted to close out too with staff and operations. Again, I want to remind everybody that our offices are all open. They're locked, to the public. We have signage everywhere. But we have staff members at each branch location to answer our calls 9 to 5. We have closed Saturday. We did put a memo out that we're going to close Saturday and Sunday until further notice. Obviously, during these times, having Saturday and Sunday open was not something that we felt would be in the best interest. But we have a fully staffed, first class answering service that we're very proud of. They've been working so well with us for some time. They book all appointments if need be. They forward calls to us, the leadership team, like whether it's Larry or Jen or myself. We have staff that are working remotely, working from home. Daniel and Jen and Rebecca and Larry and myself, we work from the office and from home. I have gone to the office almost on a daily basis at different offices. I don't always go in the offices. Jimmy, I don't go to the office in the office every single day, but I do go into the office. I want to make sure that their emotional state is also very, very strong too, right? So if you don't have to go to the office just to pick something up or drop something off. Otherwise, I recommend and respectfully request that you don't go in, because they feel they're emotionally feeling the same way all of us feel, and everybody else feels as well. Okay. Any questions about the operation of the office? Great.
Tim, may I add something just before we go?
Yeah.
Was yesterday I received an email from one of our colleagues here, and it was a request about some money that was owing to their client. And I just informed them, I says, listen, do yourself a favor. The office is on Monday. Reach out, for example, to Brenda, and make sure the check is there, and they'd be more than happy. They'll come to the front door. They're not going to go any further, because we don't want them exposed either. There are certain circumstances that people should, obviously it's funds or whatever, but again, this is just a food for thought that we try to keep as many people as possible away from the offices. Even ourselves, we go in and pick up supplies or whatever we can for everybody.
Yeah, I want to also share with the group really quickly. I know we've gone 10 minutes over here, and I want to respect your time. No brokerage trust account can send money out electronically. We could only receive it. We could only send out EFT from commission trust to commission trust between offices, but excess funds to clients, no brokerage is set up to do that. If it was possible, if the bank allowed us, we would do it, but it's not possible. The only way we can give excess funds is by an actual check. And I want to remind everybody that certifying a trust check is a waste of time. The fact that it's a trust check, it's like certified. So taking our check and going to a bank that's an excess check to anybody is just not required. It's a statutory trust account check. Anyways, with that, I want to thank you all for being with me today and us today and sharing all the information we shared. Again, here to help in any way possible as needed. I'm wishing everybody a great day and a great week ahead, and enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you, Tim.
Bye, Tim. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much.
Bye.
I just sent the COVID forms to 2 buyers and 2 sellers on DocuSign.
Have a good one, guys.